I don't have a full-length roller.
You do not. You have
This is
to.
what I'm attempting.
Okay, well, we'll go over this kind of fast. I didn't realize that you didn't have the full roller. Did you leave it somewhere?
No, I just have never had it. I've always like either
Okay.
had access to one
Sorry,
or, but yeah,
Oh,
just
you're
letting you
back.
know I don't have it.
Okay, so we're lying
sorry,
down on top of the roller. So you should borrow one from the studio when you're taking the class,
okay,
Laura.
sorry, I lost the
Okay.
communication when I moved my
You're
computer.
back. So lie
Okay,
down on top of your roller. We're doing gentle rocking.
okay,
So it's like your spine is glued to the roller and you just go side to side, not so far that you're going to fall off, but you're giving yourself information that about balance. It gives your body information about tightness on one side of the inner shoulder blade or the other. So we're just going back and forth. And then you stop in the center. Put your hands on your pelvis. The next one is a tuck and tilt. So you tuck the hips under to flatten your back. So don't over squeeze, Allie, but allow the bones to tuck. And then you go to neutral, and then you want to arch a little, and that's your tilt. And then you go to neutral. You tuck under, flatten the back, go to neutral, and you tilt. And neutral. This time tuck and put your hands on your lower rib cage and close the ribs. And now you're going to feel as you tilt the hips, it's a much smaller motion. You tuck and you tilt and you tuck and tilt. Now this very much differentiates that action. It's a really good action when you have tight lower back, because you're not constantly involving the rib cage in that pelvic tilt, tuck, and tilt. Okay, so remember this action, really important. Next one, we're just going to do 3 deep breaths. This is the 3D breathing, where you're going to feel the cylinder of your spine expanding in 3 directions, up, down, to the sides, and lengthwise. And you take a deep breath in. And you exhale, we're going to do the ha sound. 2 more times, fill the lungs. Exhale. And 1 more inhale. And exhale. 2 more moves. Bring your arms forward to a forward diagonal, and we first do reach and plug in. In this action, you want to feel how the shoulder blade rolls around the roller. It's very helpful for decompressing the tissue that's on the inside of your shoulder blades, that rhomboid area. It also allows you to feel where the arms are with your shoulders plugged in, right? Now keep them plugged in, and you start doing very slow scissors. Now I don't want anyone to go further over than about 45 degrees, or if you put your hand on your forehead, the other arm, so if you do this, the arm shouldn't go any further than where that hand stops it. Because as soon as we go further, you're letting your ribs out, and you're going to a place where your shoulder's no longer, the arm is no longer in the joint. So you're scissoring those 2 arms. If you feel that's pretty easy, you start turning so the palms are down, and then the palms out with the thumbs down, so it's an internal rotation. And feel the difference as the shoulders glide around the roller. Something we can't really feel on a flat mat, right? And at the same time, your spine is in a perfect position. Let's go back to palms facing in, because as I said, it's like being on that pedipole. The head is on the same alignment as your rib cage, as your tailbone. Okay.
I
Palms are
just
down.
wanted to see how you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing, we're just going to lift, bring your palms down, and you lift, you stay as stable as you can with the hands down and barely lift a foot off. Just you could put a piece of paper underneath it. And then you put that foot down and you lift the other foot. Just barely lift it and down. Good. You barely lift. And you should feel, if you don't lift the leg hardly at all, that you're working in your pelvic floor, which we can't usually command, right? And now I want you to keep going, but just go up to your fingertips. Fingertips, like little spider fingers, up. And you'll notice that it's a little harder, especially on one side, right? Up and lower and up and lower. Good. Then if you can, but Allie, I wouldn't suggest you do this today, is you take your fingertips off and just put them down if you need to. Lift a leg and down. This will feel much more wobbly, usually especially on one side. Good.
Okay.
And lift and down. And lift and down. And one more. Up and down. And then you put your legs down and we'll just do some gentle rocking before we come off. Is that a regular roller that's on half of it? Is that what you're doing, Laura? A regular roller? Yeah, that's fine. You could
No,
actually.
it's a mat. It's a mat.
Oh,
It's a
it's
yoga
mat
mat.
turned into a roller. Aren't you clever? Okay. All right. And after that little gentle rocking, you're going to extend one leg only, roll off, put the roller to the side, and lie down again. And especially, we'll do the neck release side to side. See if your neck is any looser than before. Palms are up. And then head in the center, sense your middle back if the shoulder blades are a little bit flatter. Yep. Yeah, and Allie, when my back doesn't feel good, I have to keep my knees bent, feet flat. So you need to give yourself that option if you can't have straight legs. Okay. And then feel if you're a little more in the center of the butt cheeks than when we did the last assessment. Okay. And then gently turn yourself to the side and come up. Okay, we're going to do the lower body rehydrate, which is really great for the back because we're working up from the bottom. And as I said, next week we'll start with the foot sequence, which does very much the same thing. So this first one is a back of thigh shear. So a shear, I just want you to watch before you lie down. I'm going to bring this in as tight as possible and then extend. We're going to do one leg at a time for the top. And you're just dragging the flesh on the bone. That's a shear. The roller doesn't move. So go ahead and try that. So you lie down, you pull that roller tight into your hips, and you drag side to side. Yep. So, Laura, it's under your hamstring, not your, so yeah, pull it in tight as if you're going to put it under, then extend your legs on top. There you go. So you're working the top of the hamstring. And then you stop and you do the other side. I'm dragging my heel on the mat. So, see if I can show it this way
I need
better.
to see it. I don't.
It's like
understand.
this, but it's not under my hips. It's only under my hamstring.
Okay.
Yep.
Like
All
the-
right.
The resting leg.
What? Say again, Nina.
The opposite leg, does it work? Is it bent or straight? Not the one that's
It's just relaxed. It's just relaxed.
okay.
And then the other way of doing this is pull it in again nice and tight, is you do both legs like you're making snow angels, the laziest snow angels. So the lazier and heavier you are, the more that you release the tissue. Okay, after 4 or 5, you stop. I usually find a place that feels tighter. For me, it's this outer hamstring. You take a deep breath, the secret of that, and you exhale. Then you're going to move down to the center of your hamstring and do the same thing. Let's do the 2 legs together. You could always choose to do 1 leg or both legs. And this may feel tighter, looser. I mean, it's interesting. Each time I do it, it's a little different, right? That's it. So you're dragging the flesh into the, against the bone, right? And then you can stop, inhale, and exhale. And let's go to the bottom of the hamstring, which is not the knee space. So here's my knee space. I'm right up of it because we don't want to roll on a space, which would be the knee, which would be the ankle, the lower back, the neck. Yep, and you're going out and in. Yep, I'm just watching you guys. So you can also lie down, Eleanor, and do this kind of released like this. I just wanted to watch. And then you stop, inhale, and exhale. So the next one, we do seated. If it does feel like too much on your back, you can do it lying down. So you come on up. The next one is the calf glide and share. So just like we did before, when you're gliding, the roller or the ball will move. So I'm going to start. There's 2 parts of your calf. There's the fat part, which is the gastrocnemius. There's the part underneath, which is the soleus. We're doing first the gastroc, the fat part, and you can put 1 leg on top. And it's small, 3 or 4 inches. I'm using the top leg to make it a little weightier. I'll do it towards you so you can see. So what I'm doing is I'm turning the leg a little in and parallel and a little out. So bend the knee, straighten the leg, Allie. Bend the knee, stretch. So see, I bend, stretch, bend as I'm going side to side, bend, stretch. Good. Now I'm going to stop and I'm going to, roller doesn't move, do this little side to side. And does it flip?
Yep.
For me, the muscle flips. So be careful with that. And then you stop and inhale, exhale. Now I'm going to move down to the soleus, the bottom here. And same thing. I bend the knees, straighten the knees, and I go the inner part of the calf, the outer part, right? And you can keep adjusting. If it's too painful, you take the other foot off. And then again, you stop, you find a place that feels like it needs the shear, and you go back and forth. If it's very, very painful, you just circle your ankle, okay? Because when you move the joint that's close, it will do the same thing. And stop, inhale, and exhale. You go to the other calf. So I'm in the middle of the calf. I'll show you without the other leg on top. I'm just bending and straightening. And I turn the leg in. Yep, and if it feels like you can do more weight, you put the other leg on top. You know, when you're doing this for someone who's just gone for a run, they probably can't have the other leg on top because it's too tight, the area, right? And then you stop and you do the windshield wiper, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then you stop, inhale, and exhale. Then you go down to the soleus, the part under the fat part of the calf. And again, you're going rolling. When the roller moves, you're gliding. That's the gliding motion. Or you can do it the other foot on top. I turn my hips one way, straight, turn my hips. Yes, exactly. You can go onto your side, Nina, if you want, with your hips, sort of like you're doing corkscrew or something, right? Moving your hips over to get that. Good. And then stop and you go windshield wiper. Or if it's too painful, you do the circles with the ankles, right? And stop, inhale, and exhale. So just like with the hands, after this, we did rinse. Not all the moves on the roller have a rinse, but this one does. So the first rinse we do is the, I'm gonna make sure I do this in the right order. Inner thigh, glide and shear, back of thigh. Okay, we already did that. Calf rinse and inner thigh, good. So calf rinse first. Just making sure we do this in the handout I gave you. So a rinse is one directional. So we start, I have my hips over, so I have the inside of my leg. I go forward on the inside of the leg, go to parallel, and I pull back on the outside. Forward on the inside, back on the outside. Forward. We're going to do that like 4 or 5 times. So what we're encouraging with this global move is fluid flow. So you don't want to go back and forth over large swaths of the muscle and tissue because it will confuse that fluid flow. Let's do the other side. There's no friction. We don't do friction with the roller. Inner and then back. Forward with the inner calf, back on the back of the calf. You got it, guys. Forward. Good. Inner. Good. You got it. And forward and back. And then you take a little break because it's a lot on your arms, right? Okay. We do the thighs the same way. Inner thigh, moving forward. Back of hamstring, you move backward. So everyone, you're at right in front of the knee, inner thigh. Inner thigh, everyone, at the knee. Good. And now I go forward toward my foot on the inner thigh. Forward. Yes. Now back of hamstring, toes up to the ceiling, move back. You've got it. Good. And forward on the inner thigh, backward on the back of the hamstring. One more, forward and back. This should be really good for your knee, Laura. Other leg. So you start facing away at the knee, but not on the knee, inner thigh. You go forward to the top of the inner thigh, top of the hamstring, move backward. And good. Go forward and back. Good. Inner thigh, back of hamstring. Good. Inner and back of hamstring. Good. Okay. So you're creating this great fluid flow right up the legs, which then indirectly already is starting to affect your hips and back. So really important, especially those of you that have back issues. Remember, we never roll or have the roller on the actual lumbar spine. It's only on the pelvis. So we have tailbone, top hip bones. The roller has to be in between those two places. If it's too high, it's going to put pressure on your lower back. If it's too low, it's going to cause you to tuck too much, okay? So we're going now to the lower body length and lower back decompress. Really great for these back issues. So you pull the roller tight into your hips, lift your hips up. And now when you're there in this shoulder bridge position, I can touch my back hip bones. They're still exposed. So, Allie, can you see how I can put my fingers? I can feel my back hip bones. If they're covered, yeah, you can feel them?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then that means you're in a good place. The next thing, you should be able to tuck the hips under and go to the tilt, which means it's basically a neutral pelvis, but with the hips lifted, you're tilting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then you tuck under and you tilt. So you want to find where that place is. As you tuck, you may feel a good stretch in the quad. Tuck and tilt. One more, tuck and tilt. Now, I want you to bring your knees in and you stay in the tilt and you bring your legs back and forth about 45 degrees one way, like a windshield wiper, and left. So you're going from SI joint to SI joint. So Eleonora, the roller is under your hips now. Yes. Bring them under and then lift your knees up to the ceiling and send your legs side to side. Lift, see, yes, exactly. Both knees up and go side to side. Now come over to one side, you guys. Try to keep your shoulders down, no more than 45. If you're here, then I've lost the anchoring, right? And you circle the knees. Circle those knees around. Be real gentle with this, Allie. And over to the other side and circle the knees. So you're actually creating a circle around the area of your SI joint. You go over to the other side and you do this little knee bend, just march. The knees go back and forth. That's it. And over to the other side and you march. You got it. Then go over to the other side and I want you to circle a leg. Circle the leg that's closest to the roller. This one usually feels really great for the SI joint. And then other ones, circle, circle, and circle. Good. Now, bent knee press is next. Everyone put your feet down like you're in a shoulder bridge, but you're supported by the roller. Make sure you're in the center between the tailbone and your hip bones. Pull the right knee in and put two hands under the crease of the knee. Make sure that your left leg is very parallel with weight on the big toe joint. You start in the tilt of the hips. On the inhale, put your left foot down on the mat. Eleonora, left foot down, good. Hug in your right knee on the exhale and tuck your hips under. Pull the knee to your shoulder, right knee to shoulder. And then you release. So Eleonora, grab under the right knee joint. So you have your hands under and
Okay.
you go in
Okay.
and you release. Two more times. Inhale and exhale, tuck. Good. And inhale. Nina, can you feel stretch through the opposite quad when you're pulling in?
Oh yeah, do you keep it in the tuck the whole time, right?
No, every time the knee comes up, I go to the tilt,
Ah.
good question. And then when I pull the knee in, I tuck under and put more weight on my left foot so that I feel the stretch through the left quad. Let's switch to the other one. Pull your left knee in, two hands under the knee. Inhale, stay, exhale, tuck the hips under, pull your knee to your shoulder. Inhale, release it. Exhale, pull the knee in. Inhale, release. Exhale, tuck under. Eleonora, I think you can put the roller tighter up higher under your hips. Little more. Yes, that's where it needs to be. Good. All right. Now, the next one is hip to heel. And next week, I'll ask you guys if you have a TheraBand to bring it, because it's very interesting how this feels with a TheraBand. So 2 feet are down in your shoulder bridge position. The right leg will go forward And then flex foot up to the ceiling perpendicular. You need to stay in your tilt. Don't allow those hips to tuck. And then you can point the foot, flex the foot. Point the foot, flex the foot first. And then you're going to turn the leg. So try to have it more perpendicular, Laura. You're so flexible. So send the hips to make it totally perpendicular, the one that's up to the ceiling, and stick your butt out so your butt goes over the roller. Yes. Now, point and flex a few times, and then the next one is turn the leg out and turn it in, but it stays exactly in place. So what we're doing is you're actually decompressing the tissue of the hip that's against the roller. If you can, Nina, also stick your butt out a little bit more. You guys that are flexible, you need to keep from naturally just tucking because it's so easy. Send your hips on top. Turn out, turn in. That's better, guys. Turn out, turn in. Then the leg goes across the midline, return. Across, return. Good. Across, return. One more. Across and return. Put that foot down. The left leg extended forward away from yourself and up to the ceiling. Once it's at the ceiling, do a little extra, stick your butt out so your butt's right on top of the roller. Point the foot, flex the foot. What we're trying to do is feel that tissue from the heel to the sit bone that's behind the legs. So if we tuck, we're not going to feel that tensional energy. And good, flex and point and stay flexed. Then just turn the leg out and turn it in. Very nice. Turn it out. And try to feel as you continue doing that, that the tissue of your hip is moving against the roller. So the roller's sort of massaging that tissue. It's decompressing it. Then finally, leg parallel, cross the midline and return. Good. And cross and return. Good. Cross and return. One more. Cross and return. Good. All right. Put the foot down, lift your hips up, and take the roller out. I want you to just watch this one. I don't think we did this one. It's called lower back decompress. It's very subtle. Very, very subtle. So this is the first one that we already did, where you go back and forth here. So now we're going to do the same thing with the hands here, which becomes a core challenge, but it also very subtly moves the hips. So I let the hips tuck, inhale. On the exhale, I send my hips to a tilt, pull the knees in and push them away. And then I release. The hips tuck. Exhale, pull the knees in, send the hips to the tilt. And I keep my arms straight so nothing can happen. So we're doing this very subtle, but with tensional energy, tuck and tilt. Okay, so put the roller under your hips again. Bend the knees in, hands on top of the quad, right? Straight arms. So keep the arms straight, tuck your hips under. Inhale, here on the exhale, send your hips to the tilt, and at the same time, pull your knees in and push them away with your arms. Release, inhale, tuck under. Exhale, tilt, pull the knees in and push them away. Good. Inhale, tuck. Oh, really good, you guys. Exhale, hips to the tilt. Pull your knees in strongly and push them away. Good. Last one. Inhale, tuck. Exhale, go to the tilt. Pull the knees in and push them away. And then the feet come down. The hips come up. And you go and assess how your back feels now. So feel if your ribs are lower, if your lower back space is a little bit smaller, if you feel softer into the butt cheeks, palms up. How does that feel? Do you guys feel like you're a little more released and centered? Good.
And I feel a big difference when we did that, cutting the body in half. I feel more even. Whereas
Oh, good, good. All right, great, great. Okay, so we're going now to, let's see, how's my time? Okay, we have 10 minutes. Let's do upper body rehydrate. So any of these, when you have lower back, really great to do. Okay. Not me. Someone else getting called. Everyone's checking.
sorry about that.
No worries. I'm just always relieved when it's not me. If I still haven't figured out.
I had to turn that off.
I think Laura said you go, what did you tell me, Laura? You put it on Do Not Disturb or
I
something?
haven't figured it out either.
Okay,
I can disturb it on my phone, but it doesn't work on the computer. It still rings on the computer.
Really? Oh, okay. I hadn't tried it, but I thought you could just put Do Not Disturb on the phone and then it wouldn't.
You can
Right.
also just put it on silent. There's a switch on the side of the iPhone that'll go into red,
Ah,
and it's silent, completely silences the ringer.
okay, great. Okay, I'll look for that one too. All right, we're on the ribs. Is everyone okay? Any questions? Laura looks like she had to go.
No, took her video off because her connection.
Your connection's bad? Boo. Sorry. All right, Laura or anyone, any questions about the sequences that we did?
A little confused for first time. I think
Yeah.
I'll go over.
Okay, okay, we'll go over them a little more for you next time, okay? And I might send you a video. All right, so
That
we're
would be
starting with
great.
the rib length. You put these under your shoulders, at the tips of your shoulders, interlace the fingers, put them at the base of the skull. So first thing, this is actually an assessment. You tuck as much as you can, pulling those ribs down. And then you just go till you're maybe flat on top, not arched. You tuck under. You keep the tuck in the hips. So here's another differentiated action. You tuck under, you keep the tuck, and just extend the upper back without releasing the back. So I don't get a natural arch in my lower back. I keep the tuck and lengthen. That's it. And tuck and lengthen. Stay in the lengthened position. Remember, your hips are still tucked, and you go side to side. Side to side. So you might feel more, a little tighter on one side than the other. Don't go to a place of pain, just sort of experience how those ribs are doing. Then come to the center, inhale, and exhale. Okay, we're going to the top tips of the shoulder blades. So you roll yourself down to those, to the upper tips of your shoulder blades. So actually I'm higher. I rolled my body down to get higher up. So I'm almost at the neck, but not. I'm going to curl the tailbone under, barely lift my hips up. I'm looking forward, and you glide back and forth 3 or 4 inches on those top tips of the shoulders. As you're doing that, explore a little, put more weight. Look how I'm looking a little bit to one side, so I get more weight on one shoulder blade, and then into the center, and then go over to the other side. Right, and I'm rolling back and forth. Keep your hips lifted, Eleonora, and see I'm moving the roller with my hips lifted up. That's it. And then you tuck the hips down, and like a bear scratching a tree, which of course Laura saw when she was at Yosemite. Bears, you go side to side. Nice. And then you come to the center, you stop and inhale. and exhale. Now you're going to move to the bottom tips. I bring my feet in a little bit, and I move to the bottom tips of my shoulder. I lift my hips a little bit, and I'm going back and forth, back and forth. So see, my hips are off. Look forward a little bit, support your neck. Put more weight on one side of the shoulder blade and more weight on the other side. Come into the center, tuck the hips down. Now here's another way of doing your shear. So you go over to one side like a side bend, extend an arm and circle the arm. This is an indirect shear because I'm moving the joint instead of just twisting the tissue by moving. And then you go over to the other side, extend the other arm. Try to find a place that you feel like you're really decompressing as you move. Explore it a little. Good. Hands behind, you come to the center, take a deep breath, inhale, exhale. Last place are the bottom ribs. That isn't the lower back. You never roll on the lower back. So I tuck my hips under, and you see the roller is moving. I have my hips up, look forward, support your neck. You can do a little bit side to side. Right, good. Then you tuck the hips under, and you can do the same scratching action. Explore. Now bring your hips down, Eleonora. Hips down, and do side to side. That's it. And then you stop. Inhale and exhale. Okay. So the rinse is really hard. So we'll just do a few of them. Okay. The rinse is one directional. You go up onto the top tips of your shoulders. The hips are up. You drop the hips down, you push from your heels, and you move. Then you come forward again. You lift the hips up, drop the hips, and you rinse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And come up like a shoulder bridge, up on the top tips of the shoulders, hands behind neck. Drop the hips and push yourself away. Are you doing okay there, everyone? That's it. That's it. You got it, Nina. That's it, Allie. Good. You got it, Eleonora. Just keep it. Yep. And that's good. Good, Laura. Great. All right. Last thing is for the neck release. Okay, there's a neck release sequence that you guys have. It's called the base of skull shear, and then neck decompress. And then we do final assessment. So the first one, you find your occipital ridge, which is the bottom of your skull, and you're placing that part of your head on the roller. Okay, so it's not your neck. If you feel back there, you can feel that it's right on that ridge. Start by, leave your hands on the roller so it doesn't move. Start by nodding side to side. So just this action decompresses your neck, all the tissue, the nerves, the muscles that are connected into this part of your head, neck, shoulder girdle, right? Then, if that feels okay, you start doing figure eights. Figure eights means that you're going to do chin makes the letter 8 on the roller. Yep. So it's like the marble is drawing around one bump and then around the other bump. Beautiful, guys. And around. And around. Nice. And around. Excellent. Around. 2 more. Great. And the last one is the neck decompress. Now I take the absolute flattest part of the back of my head and I place it up there. To me, it feels like the tilt of the pelvis when the roller's under our pelvis. So it feels kind of overextended. And I put as much released weight into the roller. Inhale where you are. Exhale, as you drop the chin, the roller will move just a little bit and you're decompressing the back of the neck. Inhale, stay. Exhale, you lift the chin, pushing into the roller, which lengthens the front of your neck. Inhale, stay. Exhale, the chin rolls down. Inhale, stay, push into the roller, lift your chin up. Inhale, stay. Exhale, the chin rolls down. Inhale, stay. Exhale, the chin lifts up. One more set. Inhale, stay. Exhale, the chin comes down. Last one. Inhale, stay. Exhale, the chin lifts up. Good. You roll the roller away. Lie down for your last assessment. Reassess. So you're lying down. First thing, you want to turn your head side to side. See if your head feels heavier, more released, if the neck feels a little bit less tight or the shoulders, and come to the center. Then sense your shoulder blades that you just did and see if they feel flatter, if you have an equal amount of weight on each of the shoulder blades. Sense if your lower back arch is smaller than when you started. Are you more in the center of your butt cheeks than toward the tailbone? Is there a change there? Do your thighs feel a little closer to the mat? Do your legs feel equally weighted as they lengthen out of the hips? Do your feet feel like they're more toward the corners of the room and a little bit more even? That takes a little longer to find more change. Cut your body in half and sense if the right and the left feel closer to the same amount of weightedness into the mat. Take one deep, deep breath in. Exhale. Turn to the side. Push yourself up. And that's it. Anyone have any questions?